Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do it again, baby. Hello. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Woo. Woo.
Bro. I have been here for 12 years. Stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid.
Welcome to the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, the podcast where comedians dissect the wrestling to an unhealthy degree. I am your host, the host with the most viral stand-up about professional wrestling, Dana Black.
Erase your mind.
A.K.A. Dunsky Blackamora.
No more Mr. Nice Jew.
A.K.A. Donnie Capri from the time I went to Italy.
Why don't you shut up, Steve?
A.K.A. the modern day goof and spoof Raja, coming at you like Cleopatra, baby.
Gabba gabba wee, gabba gabba gay, gabba 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 gay.
This girl, she is mine. She's fine.
You smell what the Rock is cooking.
What up, Jabroniacs? We are back in action for your satisfaction with all of our spicy muy caliente wrestling reactions. Woo! Hey, everybody. I mean, God, I got so much to say. I have too much to say. We have arguably the biggest piece of wrestling news in wrestling history, certainly in cow wrestling history, in the cowverse. It seems to be happening, but hold off for a second on that. I'll let you guys know a couple things. This podcast is supported by you guys at patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. If you listen to this podcast every week, consider throwing us a couple dollars. We are grassroots Bernie Sanders style. Go to patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. But we're never asking for handouts here. We have bonus content. Many would argue too much bonus content. This week, we have our AEW NXT-centric focused episodes on Friday morning with Nick Tulo, the Supermark. That'll be coming out Friday morning. We'll talk about AEW Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT Dynamite, whatever that show's called. Whenever those are on, no one knows when those are on anymore because sports bumping them, but I think they're both on Wednesday again. So we'll talk about that. Also, we have the Cal Movie Club every Monday night / Tuesday morning, except for pay-per-view weeks that come out later in the week. We talk about a movie with a professional wrestler in it. This week, we talked about an amazing movie, a movie that Erin and I both loved, Warrior, a 2011 classic starring Kurt Angle in a non-speaking role, the best kind of Kurt Angle role. Most people would agree. Okay, all right, Kurt. He's trying to enter. I'm not letting him in here. No, Kurt, it's been said. It's done. Okay, but the movie Warrior, honestly, it's on Prime Video right now. It's honestly one of my favorite movies. I fucking love this movie so much. I liked it even more on rewatch. A little spoiler. Watch the movie and then listen to me and Erin dissect it to an unhealthy degree. Also, we've been talking on this podcast that if we said last week, if we got 5 more patrons, we would unleash. We would strike. We would predatorily apex. I don't know. That didn't work. A RKO Randy Orton special, and we hit that marker. And so this week I have an announcement for you guys on Sunday before Clash of Champions, the morning of Clash. Okay. The RKO special will be released, and we'll be meaning we're gonna be talking all. Actually, you know what? Jason Shapiro, the man who will be hosting this episode with me. Let's just hear from him. He dropped us a couple lines because he was so pumped about this, about you guys supporting the podcast and unleashing this episode.
What's going on? This is a cash-in for the Cow Universe. 'Tis I, Jason Shapiro, returning triumphantly to the Comedians of Wrestling for this cash-in. This is not a question, but in fact, an answer. I'm going to bring you guys the answers you're looking for, because people have been saying, you know, on the streets where I get all my information, I am the Street Whisperer, I am the King Master, they've been saying, When are we going to figure out once and for all what the greatest RKOs of all time are, and how on earth can we determine which one is better than the other? There's no system in place. Well, me and your boy D Black, we sat down because this is the summer of Randy Orton. We all know it. Slither has launched. We can all strike in style. I've got an early access promo code, so I'll be rocking the gear before any of you fucks. But everyone's talking about the RKO. How do we determine the best one? Well, me and Donnie Capri, we sat down. I showed him my research. I have years and years of tape and notes. I spoke to scientists, movement experts, sports scientists. I've gotten the PhDs, and I've sort of developed a system here to rank the RKO definitively on 3 unique points. I'm not going to tell them to you guys right now. You're going to listen to the RKO episode to find out more. But I promise you, I've cracked the code on the RKO. I know how it works. I know how to determine the greatest ones of all time. And me and Dan will be sitting down to go through all of them. For you, our dear listeners.
Cheers up. Shebs, you heard it here first, guys. He got all the PhDs that he needed to get to be able to rank RKOs. We will be giving you the definitive list of RKOs and how to rank RKOs going forward, and just a lot of talk about Randy Orton. We'll be talking about his clothing line, Slither, that dropped this week, that I also have an early access code to that I'll be shopping at probably maybe a little bit during this pod while you guys are talking. Maybe I'll look at the Randy Orton and Kim Orton apparel line. Adore that they work on this together. Very young bucks of them. Anyway, so you get that. And then also, yeah, guys, so it was awesome. You guys were pretty excited for this episode. We'll put it out as a pre-show for the Clash of Champions. It's going to be very, very, very fun. And then we'll see what we do. Well, maybe we'll hit another target, another bonus episode. I got another idea in the pike. So we'll talk about that later. All right. Another thing on this podcast, if you rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and you tell me which a wrestler that has become one of your guys, I will congratulate you here on the podcast for having a new member of your guys. And we got 2 this week. One from Nick McCulloch, who said, "Love the show. Listen on my long drives and walks. It's just as comforting as watching wrestling. One of my guys is my best friend, Jay Cross. He's an indie wrestler out of Janesville, Wisconsin. Check out JWA Janesville Wrestling Alliance on Facebook and support your local wrestlers." Hey, 5 stars. We'll give it to you. Hey, your friend. It's nice to support your friend. Making one of your friends one of your guys. I like that behavior. Keep it local. Why not? Beautiful. Also, a guy named Dylan O'Connor. Best wrestling podcast and my favorite podcast. Always looking forward to the next step. Hosts are always hilarious and have great takes on wrestling. Got to make a declaration early. Ricky Starks is one of my guys. Many people are saying Ricky Starks beat The Rock before he went into the Captain America machine. Yeah, so anyway, leave us 5 stars and let us know. Genuinely, I love it. It helps the podcast because of the algorithm, but I love hearing the wrestlers. You guys are, become one of your guys. Congratulations to having wrestlers, adding them to your one of my guys list. All right, anyway, we're going to be getting into, I know all you're thinking, we're going to talk about Clash of Champions. And we're going to talk about getting into our predictions because, we have a long-running merch prediction thread going. But, I mean, God, there's just such a headline that we have to get to. And if you're watching this video on the Zoom, which is on our YouTube channel, you can see that
Roman Reigns is always here.
I mean, just like Roman Reigns seems to be changing it up, I changed up the background of my Zoom calls. This is huge. I'm wearing the Roman Reigns vest. Roman Reigns. Okay. Oh, I didn't even introduce you guys. I'm so excited for this insane. This is the biggest news event in cow history. Okay. Okay. Breaking news. All right. I didn't even introduce, by the way, Erin Finnerty, First Lady, to my side, but not a thorn. What up? And here he is. He's a nasty boy, straight up from How About It City, Nasty Newman.
To How About It Island, and it's my How About It Island. And when you have this kind of power, you just show up and you podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard Newman has now decided to stop doing any prep for the podcast. He now just shows up and podcasts. He's inspired by Roman's new attitude. But listen, this is a huge piece of news. This is breaking piece of news. Here it is. Fucking Roman Reigns on a Zoom call with a fan. Reportedly, and I don't know if he was asked a question because I couldn't find this piece of tape. Is this piece of tape in existence?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Whoa.
Okay, so
What flavor? Wait, stop. What flavor?
Oh, lime, duh. I mean, yeah, obviously.
Okay, obviously.
I'm on a real lime kick. I'm really getting LaCroix back. And you remember when they heard LaCroix was in bad shape? No more. I'm back in business. Anyway, so it's reported on a Zoom call, he talking to a fan, which I believe WWE like has a thing where you can meet the wrestlers, like they kind of do like in-person signings on Zoom, where like you get a wrestler for like 1 minute and then they're gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're doing that instead of like access. You
Yes.
can buy for I think like maybe $100 or $200 like a Zoom call with your fave superstars.
Right. So or it might be like a Make-A-Wish or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I heard they were going to do this, but then they haven't had any advertising for it during the show or anything. I haven't seen anything. But maybe it's because they're so caught up in that third. You guys, we heard from Vince like 2 weeks ago that they're really concerned with getting people off of third-party services or whatever, right? Getting these wrestlers off Cameo and shit. But anyway, so Roman had said that he will be wrestling going forward shirtless.
Wow.
Which is a fucking bombshell. And it is the question we were all asking for. Somehow he's been back and is already the champion, and we don't know what his wrestling gear is. And he's had matches. He's just been showing up and winning and just wearing the tish. But Roman, a shirtless Roman, and I got to tell you, we've talked about this forever, and there are some caveats here, and there is more information. A shirtless Roman immediately changes the dynamic here. It's immediate. Now, a lot of damage has already been done, meaning he already has headlined like 5 Manias in a vest, while these other guys are starving themselves, getting tan. You know what I mean? And he's not rocking the vest. But so okay, I just want to give you the full information before we have this full conversation. He also clarified that he will be keeping his pants. So okay, we're not going to see undies, trunks, Roman.
Right.
All right. He wants to keep the pants. All right. But this probably does break any speculation, which we've talked about on this podcast and we heard before, that because of his leukemia, that he has some kind of scarring or something, that he wouldn't take the shirt off. Right. We think it's fair to assume from this that it's just a being in shape situation, aesthetic situation, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, maybe.
He shared his shirtless pictures to his social media.
Right.
So I looked. I didn't see any glaring scars or disfigurement.
Right. Yeah, and he doesn't seem a guy who's like on feeding tubes. He's very healthy right now, so or anything like that. Now, music. He also said that he will be having a new song. It's confirmed he will have new music. So we're getting this. We break it down. We got a full Roman Reigns with Heyman repackage. A lot has happened, and we have to really think about it, drink that in. Especially me, who's been extremely critical of Roman. Where are we at? I'll let you guys go. Where? How are you guys feeling about all these changes? What does this do for you?
I can't wait for the WWE shop to have the like the no vest, like for like a $50, and it's just you get nothing in the mail. Like instead of buying the vest, it's just
like Emperor's new clothes.
Right? Yeah, it's Roman's new look, and it's just an empty fucking box with like a packing label.
They like Vince says to everyone, he's like, "All right, I'll let him take the vest off, but I still need that same revenue stream. So you guys need to buy. You need to buy nothing. I need you to buy these empty boxes."
Yeah, right. No, I think it's awesome. I think that the pants, I think like baby steps, right? Like this is not even baby steps. This is a huge step. Pop that top off, let them thang, and then we can talk about maybe pushing for the trunks or the undie look.
Baby steps.
I am a little concerned about the music. I don't know what that's going to sound like. They don't have CFOs anymore, so automatically it's going to be what is it like a
breaking news here. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, this
I
is breaking.
actually have a preview of his new music.
Oh, interesting. Let's hear it.
Here it is. That's it. He's gonna come out with Grandmaster Sexay, Scotty Too Hottie, and he's gonna wear Oakleys, and he's gonna dance back to the side. His Uncle Rikishi's gonna come out.
I mean, you're probably not too far off.
What do you think? No, actually, I forgot.
great.
Sorry, I played the wrong track. Sorry, guys, I played the wrong
you
one. That
did
wasn't
that?
even it. No. It's almost the same, but it's this one. It's it starts off. I'm pressing play now. I'm pressing play now. Ooh ah.
Oh, okay. It's the same thing, but with the ooh ah.
Yeah, that's it. What do you guys?
Mix it up a little bit.
What do you guys think? What do you think?
I think it sounds great.
Wait, actually,
I
shit!
can
I'm so
see it.
sorry, guys. I played the wrong
Second
track.
time? Oh no.
Most of the time when people play like the wrong song or something, it's like immediately evident. But I'm noticing that it's like taking a couple of seconds here to realize that it's the wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
The
No,
wrong song.
I'm sorry. Here it is. All right. Ooh ah, ooh ah,
Right. Okay.
ooh ah. That's it. What do you guys think? What do you think?
It's great.
And then it goes into this. It goes,
Right. They're doing like when it's like two wrestlers that have joined up, but they're not a tag team yet, and it like cuts off and plays the other music.
yeah. That's what he's gonna do. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I mean, the last one sounded a lot like Becky Lynch's music.
Yeah. Oh shit!
But,
maybe that- Yeah.
Did you hit the wrong music for the fourth time?
Actually, oh shit.
Comedy
did.
Fours, everybody.
Dude, I'm sorry. I played the wrong. I apologize. I played the wrong. I played it. Okay, here it is, guys. Here's the new Roman song. I'm really sorry about that. Oh my god, sorry. This is embarrassing. Can we cut this? No.
Yeah.
We don't have a no, so it's not cuttable. Here it is. Here's Roman's new song. Ready?
You think you know me?
Wow. This is confirmed?
Yeah, it's confirmed. He took the
Wow.
"You Think You Know Me."
Huh.
He liked it. He said like, just like I stole the Shield's music, I'm allowed to take other wrestlers' music.
It's like
And-
a remix, kind of.
It'd be a good
Yeah,
gimmick,
A little
I think.
original.
Yeah. I don't listen. This is what he's decided to do. What do you guys think?
I think it's great.
You guys don't seem that excited about it.
Yeah, I kind of like his old music better than this cacophony of other wrestlers' themes. Might get confusing.
I would agree.
I think-
I'm with. To be honest, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that it all remains to be seen. As we will get into, the WWE has a penchant for fucking up everything, and especially things that are already bad. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. I'm sorry, guys. I messed it up. This is actually Roman. This is actually it. This is actually Roman's song.
Okay, this is the real one?
Yeah.
It's the real one for real?
Yeah. This is it. Ready?
Okay.
But listen to it in its entirety, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Monday Night Raw is presented by Southern New Hampshire University.
And then it goes into this.
Welcome everyone to Raw Underground,
Yeah.
where there are very little rules, lots of excitement, carnage, chaos.
And that's it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I
So
like
is
that
Shane?
one.
Yeah, I like that one too. Is Shane going to be like on the mic with him, or is that just part of the audio?
It's just part of the
Of
song,
his-
right?
That's unclear so far.
Got
He didn't speculate on the Zoom call because the kid, it was a kid who was dying of a terminal illness, was on the call with Roman. He was asking him that exact question when the minute was up. Vince popped up and was like, "Insert another quarter, you little shit," and then he didn't have it, and so
Yeah. What would you ask if you had a minute with Roman? What would you ask? 60 seconds.
Dude, I would more lecture him. I'd be like, here's what you got to do. You know what I mean? Here's what you got to do. Actually, guys, this is frankly frankly unprofessional, but I actually have the real Romans music. This is what it is.
Okay.
This is breaking. This is break. Here it is.
Okay, this is the one.
Okay. This one's really it. What do you think?
Oh, God. It is, I mean, like, all jokes aside, so bad. This is so bad. On every level, this is bad. Like, the audio engineering is awful.
Horrible.
Like,
This is really bad. I hate this. I like the Randy Orton one, but
oh, God, just like, hey.
All right. Jokes. All right. The joke's over. The
That
joke.
is
I got.
deeply offensive to me as a musician
yeah.
on every level.
It's so bad. Yo,
It's not just the quality of like the voice, like obviously in a bathroom or something, like the acoustics are like obviously a bathroom. And then the bass is so forward in the mix that like literally everything else, it just disappears. Except
like
for
shit.
those vocals, which are like
Those beautiful
just
vocals.
piercing through the, oh God, they should be ashamed of themselves. They recorded it on like a fucking potato or something.
Oh man, I love this podcast. What other wrestling podcast? It's so funny because I was listening to like Jim Cornette the other day, just like a clip of him like shitting on Kenny Omega, which we'll talk about later a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what people want in a wrestling podcast. They want a guy that like takes this shit that seriously to the point you're like, people emotionally wounded. Like, let's have fun with wrestling. Like, we can take it seriously and have fun, like in equal parts. You know what I mean? I just don't understand.
I hope we do.
Those are podcasts people want. All right. This is fucking.
I hope we do get into that because
devastatingly embarrassing.
Yeah.
That I actually found the real Roman music.
This is an example of the comedy sevens. It is a very little known principle in comedy.
You know the rule of 15s, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, ready? Here it is. This is the Roman music. We're not going to comment on it. Let's just listen to it and let it be. You know what I mean?
Someone you idolize takes you under their wing from day one because they see something special in you. They help you to become something more.
That's Roman's just going to come.
Really good.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it just to troll Newman. You know why I have that track, by the way, for the 9 to 5 8-hour episode.
That's the only time I've ever heard that abomination.
I look like I really scour, like always, do way too much work for this pod, and I scour the internet for all the covers of wrestling music that I can find, just to play throughout the episode. But anyway, we talked a little about the 9 to 5 this year. I don't know if we'll see what will happen. It'll be up to you guys, really.
Yeah.
It'll be up to you guys. You know what I mean? Can you incentivize us enough? We'll see. All right. Anyway. All right. So Roman, here's the deal. I don't want to. This is extremely positive change. You know what I mean? Like, so let's. This is mostly a plus. Mostly a plus. I just want to say, if you're already going shirtless, isn't that the hard part? Is wearing pants? You really want to go shirtless to wear pants? Like, that I don't even get. Like, why would you, right? Like, how would that look better? Like, you're a pro wrestler, man. Like, put on the fucking trunks, right? There's no way his legs are embarrassing.
Braun Strowman route.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're already shirtless. That's like, not even half the battle. It's like 85% of the battle. So I'm not saying like if he's wearing pants, it sucks. Like I'm happy to have him shirtless or whatever. But like, why not just wear trunks also? Like put on the boots and look. Why not look like the centerpiece of this company? You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't understand.
Like Drew
Like if you
McIntyre
take
style.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Drew, Randy, but like also
he's not gonna wear like Shawn Michaels. This is what I'm saying. He's not gonna like they're like he's like Shawn pants, like like the tight, the tight pants. Like for a smaller athletic guy like a Seth, that we've proven that looks better for that type of physique. And also it's like it sets like the precedent that like you're a more agile kind of wrestler. You're more of like a Ziggler. You're like more of it. You're smaller, but you're quicker. You're an athlete. So it fits. We've set that precedent of type. But if you're him, you're a house. You know what I mean? So why not? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you take like Otis by like comparison, right? Like somebody like Otis who like is not in as like let's say traditionally good shape as like Roman is, but has a little crop top, his belly's hanging out, he's in trunks. So like if Otis can pull it off, then why can't Roman?
It's just that thing with Roman. It's like he's always just like a little off the mark. No matter what he does, he just doesn't like fully get it or something. Like, you know what I mean? And it sounds also like from what I was reading, this transcript that I was reading or whatever, that like he has control over what he wears. Yeah. Right? So that like Vince isn't telling him keep the pants on, but we know Vince does have that level of control because we knew it was a big deal. Dean wanted to take his shirt off, and Vince kept him in the John McClane outfit for a long time. So I would say that I would just say that it's just a little bit like, dude, we know you're going to look way better in trunks than shirtless with pants. You're not going to look like the fucking star that you are. Like, he's a 10 out of 10 looking guy. Like, he has the Rock's genetics. Like, go out there and fucking be all you can be, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm on your side, I think we'll get there. The shirt is so huge, and it's a paradigm shift that none of us ever thought would come. And so I think the trunks. You don't need to sneak all your Dean Ambrose references into this podcast, okay?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that it's been a dirty deed to like get the shirt off, and now we have it. So
that's a fringe opinion. That's a lunatic fringe opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of what that match he had with Jericho was called. What it was like the Psycho cage match. What was that called?
The Punjabi
Asylum match.
Oh, Asylum.
But so it's frustrating because I already watched Roman Reigns wrestle in front of a record-setting crowd of 101,000 people in like a fucking girdle. You know what I mean? And he wrestled Triple H, who was 55 years old. And like looking like a mill, like realizing the power of what you look at now. Look, you want to we can make another argument, which is he got popped for taking Adderall. So look, there is this wellness policy. Triple H is not.
Hell yeah, dude.
Clearly, no one's testing Triple H. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I've always thought that like their wellness policy is like obviously tiered, right? Like no one's testing John Cena. No one's testing a certain level of performer.
Yeah, it's also it's not self-regulated. It's not real.
Right? Yeah, USADA's not knocking down their door.
Yeah, and also, you think if Roman went to Vince and was like, "Look, I'm looking to fucking grab this brass ring. Like, don't be testing me." You think he's gonna test him? You think Vince is like, "No, I got Roman. I really care about your well-being."
Yeah, this is a legitimate operation.
Think about probably how fast they rushed it. He literally, like, when he said he didn't want to wrestle for COVID, it was reported that Vince was pretty pissed off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
So here's what I'm saying is this is a positive thing, and also let's put this into perspective for you. These are huge men. Let's put this in perspective. Roman Reigns is with Paul Heyman. I said this on the Facebook group. This exact quote. It's like, he's with Paul Heyman. He's a heel. He's looking like a mill. He's going to come out shirtless. He's going to get new music. He's the champ. He's doing everything that we've asked from him. And Kenny Omega is wearing fucking dad shorts. Like he's like the fucking, like he's like the dork dad who's like barbecuing in a Redcon 1 T-shirt on AEW. I mean, can you see how this switch is happening? Why would Kenny let Roman Reigns look cooler than him? What is happening?
Sin. That's a sin. That's crazy. Kenny, who used to look, it's not like he never looked cool and he's being surpassed. Like, he used to look so cool.
Yeah, and Kenny's in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the
His
style.
hair is like on the mend.
Right.
Not all fried like it used to be.
No, his hair looks great. He's figured he's got the right product for the locks. Anyway, I think Roman Reigns is, whatever I could say about him that annoys me, he's working so much more than Kenny Omega, So these are the two top guys, the top indie guy and the top WWE guy, and the WWE guy is getting it right, and the other guy's not. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, Roman will be shirtless, hopefully on Sunday, and I guess if he's wearing baggy pants and he's shirtless, I'll tell you this right now, I'm gonna give him shit for that. He should not be wearing baggy pants and shirtless. It doesn't fit the character.
The thing that struck me about that the official transcript of this conversation, was that he was like, he kind of in the same breath was like, shirtless, but in pants. And the idea is that we're going to go with like a mafia style angle or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see he said that. I heard everyone. I saw everyone typing that. He said mafia.
What's the correlation between wearing no shirt and mafia?
Yeah, the only thing I associate with mafia is tracksuits and just suits, right?
Right.
Oh wait, let me see this quote. He said Reigns plans on keeping this is from Wrestling 4K Instagram. I'll give him credit. Reigns confirmed this last night during a Zoom call with a fan. According to what was said on the call, Reigns plans on keeping the pants, but he will wrestle shirtless, and the idea is to establish a mafia-style storyline. He also said that there's a new theme music coming at some point. So, no, the storyline is mafia. So I think that this is just, the writing is just, it's kind of conflating these.
So it's
a compound sentence.
Yeah.
Got it.
But,
just the grammar. It's the grammar of whatever bottom feeder wrote that.
Yeah.
The Samoan mafia.
I think, so it sounds like Jay.
I'm into that.
Yeah, the Samoan Mafia is
something you'd like to see.
That is, yeah.
Fun fact. I don't know if this is not a fact at all, by the way. So I don't know why I said fun fact, but little tidbit. I was on a website. I did a Google search the other day. The search exactly was, I'll look it up right now. Okay, I did. What is The Rock on? That's what I Googled. Okay. And I clicked on this link, and in the link, it said, like, it was talking about probably all the stuff The Rock takes. The main thing, HGH, and it's, based on his build and stuff and a couple of telltale signs, he's taking something anabolic, So, look, he's clearly juiced up. No big deal. Everyone knows The Rock's juicing. No one cares, and it, is what it is. He doesn't pretend to not either. Okay, but it also said, don't discredit his Samoan genetics. That's what it said. It was like it laid out. It was like being of the Samoan pedigree like his helps you. Is extremely helpful at being huge. I don't know if that's right.
I think it's probably with The Rock specifically. It's probably.
You see what his dad looks like.
That's what I was going to say. The average, your average run-of-the-mill Samoan whose dad isn't Rocky Johnson, probably doesn't have the same advantages that The Rock does, because we're talking about an area of genetics called epigenetics, which is like the way that your ancestors lived and ate and survived informs like cross-generationally your genetics. There was a study that showed if your great-grandparents were didn't have a lot to eat, you were less likely then to develop diabetes, whereas like if your great-grandparents did have a lot to eat, you were more likely to develop diabetes. So stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that with Samoans, you would have to then be assuming that they're all related on some level. And then, so I think for him, it's more probably, the Samoan aspect is one thing. There's bigger people, right, on average. And then, but his dad specifically, I think, is like the X factor here for the Rock.
Yeah, if you look at Rocky Johnson, right? Like that's his dad's name, right? If you look at a picture of him, his dad is probably 260, like 6% body fat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's like shredded, no fat. Like, so that you're talking about that being your dad. Like, think about close your eyes. Think about what your dad looks like. Actually, for most of my listeners, go to the living room and just healing off.
Look at your dad, yeah.
Yeah, ask your dad. But look, I don't know. I don't think Pat F looks like Rocky Johnson. I mean, I haven't really looked close at Pat F, but
I mean, honestly though, he is like a really big, bald, white. He's white. He's not Samoan.
Right.
But, you'd be surprised.
Oh, okay. All right. So Pat F, 6% body fat.
Your dad's a natch. He's a natch bald.
At one time, he's a natch bald. Yeah, he
Nice.
like cakes it.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
He's a natch bald.
Cakes it does that mean shaving your head? Cakes it?
Yeah, like where you like frost it with shaving cream and then you
yeah.
cake it.
I love that.
Where'd you learn this? Who said this to you?
No, Erin
you learn
does
this?
that sometimes.
I've grown up in a bald household. You have no idea.
Cakes it?
Yo,
Yeah.
Erin sometimes she drops all this like these cool words sometimes, and you're like, wait, what? This expressions like cakes it? Because she is.
I feel like
also from Philly and Michigan.
I'm from Detroit, actually. I live in Philly.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
get
not a
me
Philly
started.
slang.
Big
No.
Kid Rock
Cakes it
fan,
is not
correct?
Philly.
Big Eminem fan. Never heard of Kid Rock before.
Kid Rock, the new Bob Seger.
Do one of you guys have a smoke detector?
Someone you
going on right
idolize.
now?
What?
I thought I heard a smoke detector going.
I heard that also.
Mm.
I mean, it's probably based on looking at these Zoom calls. It's probably my house, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys, by the way, my new background, if
Check
you're
out
watching
the
on the
Zoom
Zoom
feed.
call, I got a map of the United States of America in the back.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on.
California's beautiful.
So let's quickly move on, and then we'll get into retribution. But I want to talk a little bit about this Jim Cornette rant. And look, I hate to even I debate giving Jim Cornette any attention on this program. You know what I mean? Because he's such a fucking idiot. But he did. I'm curious. He went on this whole Kenny Omega rant, and good for him for the fact that this guy's just consistently able to get heat. You know. But he's also, a true scumbag. It just is what it is. He's accused of a lot of sexual violations as well, right? He did some weird booking shit with his wife. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about this stuff. It's all allegations as far as I'm concerned. Because what do I know? I haven't looked into it. Whatever. Okay. All that being said, one of his listeners wrote him this he was trying to explain Kenny Omega's gimmick to him. Did you hear any of this, Newman?
Yeah, let's do it. The whole thing. Yeah.
Right. I don't even think I heard the whole thing. I heard a lot of it, but it was like 20 minutes long. And
it's the same clip. The clip that you sent is the same clip 3 times in a row. So it's really only about 12 minutes.
So I probably heard most of it. I hit it.
Yeah.
I definitely listened to that one. And there's just 2 parts of this because I want to open it up to what. I've been podcasting about wrestling for a while, and it's it matters to me, and the way people ingest wrestling, more importantly, matters to me. I get frustrated. We have this amazing form of art that is very fun. That also I feel like there's this middle ground that we all need to adopt. That I really want to push, which is yes, we could take it seriously, and we could be disappointed by certain aspects of wrestling. Certainly, we'll get into retribution. There's a lot to be disappointed by, right? And Vince's writing sometimes is just downright despicable. And yes, sometimes the indie scene is up its own ass, right? But why can't I don't understand? It's almost the same thing as. If I equate this to comedy, it's almost the same thing as when Nanette came out, right? Where people get so caught up in being that's not what stand-up comedy is, And I'm I understand when you said something is not for you. like, frankly, I put on Hannah Gadsby's last special, and I was like, yikes. Like, this is embarrassing, okay, in my opinion. So I'm not even saying I'm a fan of hers. But why is there no room for her one-woman style comedy show that a lot of people like? Why is it that's such an affront to you? Same thing as this. Like, Jim Cornette is shitting on Kenny Omega's, like, the fact that he wrestled a little kid, which, by the way, made him famous. And it's something people still talk about. Why is that such an affront to you for an artist to try something? Do you know what I'm saying? Why is it? Why does that affect you so much? And why do you think that that's going to kill the business? Like, why is it this thing where it's like, you think that one clip on the internet is going to destroy the concept of wrestling? We all know what it is still. Literally, the champion, Drew McIntyre, in the ring is like, I'm the champion of sports entertainment. They openly call it sports entertainment, right? So I don't understand this thing of like just being like, here's what wrestling is. And if you are that, I find that to be, it's so frustrating. And I have another point with this, but Newman, I'll allow you to respond, or Erin, whoever wants to go.
So Jim Cornette is a wrestling fundamentalist. The kind of the gist of what he's talking about is, so to Jim Cornette and to his co-host, Jabroni McGee, I don't know who the guy is.
That's literally the words I was gonna say. Jabroni McGee.
Jabroni McGee. I love his work.
Yeah.
Actually, that guy, I have a little clip of him, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
That's him.
I don't know who he is.
So we have to break this down into, like, what are they talking about? They're talking about what they see as what actual professional wrestling is to them. And to them, the definition of that seems to be that it is when it's not legit, but the fight is presented to you in such a way that you suspend your disbelief and accept it as like a real fight. And in order to do that, they have some criteria that has to be met. And part of that criteria is that it can't be obviously staged. And to Jim Cornette, something that is obviously staged is a blow-up doll wrestling somebody because it's not alive, right? Or a child wrestling a full-grown man, because in real life that would be like over in a second, right?
Squash.
Yeah. Right. And so he has this fundamentalist attitude towards wrestling where it can only be this one thing, this like reductionist, like literalist point of view on wrestling. It is a dramatic presentation of a fake fight, and anything outside of that definition is aberrant and is a violation of the art form. This exists in I think every medium of art. You look at improv is the first thing I always think about. You have people who are like TJ and Dave, or like these very like the improv where it's like, oh, it's about this, how not serious, but how like sincere of a scene can you put on, and then the comedy comes from the truth. And then you have things like Ass Cat, where it's like just joke, and then you have things like different levels of just Herald teams at UCB, rest in peace. And you have where it's like, oh, this team's a little jokier and smiley, this team's more committed, and people attach values to these different things, and it's all, but none of it's like, there's no
every
rules.
art form, because it's amazing. Comedy slots like perfectly right. This is exactly what my brain went also. It's like there's stuff where you're like, it's not, people are like, it's not really good improv if it's not like a play, right? Like it's not like that level of serious, right? And so you're like, yeah, but like if you go watch what like Middleditch and Schwartz are doing, they have their own Netflix special, and the crowd is dying of laughter. So what are you talking about? So there, as for a teaching tool, right? Like if I'm running VNXT, right? Like I'm Vince. If I'm running VNXT,
the next.
I'm what's his name? Vince. Why am I blanking? Is it Vince Vaughn? I'm Vince Vaughn in Fighting with My Family. Like if you're teaching, and I did teach improv, if you're teaching something, then you have to be like, hey, we're doing it this way because for teaching, this is what we're studying. right? And I think there's a lot of value in being like, we're learning something a specific way. So this way you have control as a performer to know I'm not doing it that way when you veer off the track, which is something I've always been very clear on when I've taught. I've taught Newman. I'm always like, and you know, it was when I was teaching people who wanted to perform at a stage like Upright Citizen Brigade, where I would do comedy. And if you wanted to be doing improv in that style on that stage where they pay to keep the lights on and you perform there, then they're like, hey, they're going to require you to do it this way. So hate me for teaching it to you this way if you want, because it's frustrating to you and you want to do it your own way. But if you want to stay performing here, they're going to require it of you. So hate me all you want, be upset with me all you want. It would happen, but I'm like, I just have to give you the note from that. So that being said, if you are, if you were training at WWE and you're like, hey, look, I understand you want to do a spot, you want to chain spots together. Vince is going to watch this and be like, first off, this is too dangerous, and first off, this is not telling the story for television viewers. It doesn't read like a little auditorium. So you're like, oh, I understand that because that's the rules of WWE. That's the company you work for. That's how it goes. But then when you're just someone like a Jim Cornette, you're me, you're a podcaster, you're someone watching, why can't you broaden your scope to be like, I have a preference, right?
Right.
I have a preference of how I like it, right? Because, like, and also I like to watch all of it. I like to see it all, and I could see why somebody likes this. When you come at it from this place of like, it's anybody. It's why I have the RGN podcast. Me and Erin, we talk about like politics, because I'm always so shocked. Some people are so here's what I believe in. You're not open to anything. I find that to be so crazy, and it's frustrating to me that this is what I guess wrestling podcast listeners want to hear. Someone just talk about why it's all bad and blah, blah, blah. You're telling me that you can't appreciate that Ospreay Ricochet match? The one that everyone shit on? You can't appreciate two top-level gymnasts bringing that kind of athleticism to the pro wrestling ring?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if I try to like empathize with it, like it would be for me, like an area that it kind of feels familiar is to go back to comedy, like sketch comedy, right? Like when I see things on like Instagram or something, and it's like people are calling it a sketch, and it's just like a 20-second clip of someone being like, oh, you know, when your girl walks in and she's got a fat ass, and everyone goes, oh, right, and it has fucking 65 million likes, and people love it. But me personally, I'm like, this is not what this is like, and this is not sketch comedy. But I have to like analyze that and be like, oh, it's not sketch comedy to me. It's working and people are laughing and funny wins, right? But like Jim Cornette is acting as though like if I were a chef, a sushi chef, and I was like, you know what, actually I make sushi by, the way I make sushi is I get like beef patties and I grill them and then I put them on buns and then you eat, that's my sushi. It's like, well, that's not, then you can be like, that's not sushi. That's something else. And so that's how he's acting, as though there is this one prescripted, this is what wrestling is. And if you do something else, then you're violating some like code that says it has to be this way. And that's where he like goes wrong among many other areas. But it's like, it's just, it's if people are reacting, then it's working. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is set up. And I mean, I get the idea that like it has to tell a story and it draws people in and then it works on that level. But if you can,
he's also wrong.
Right.
No, what I'm saying is like, I'm speaking to your point is that like, you're saying it's working. He said Kevin Owens was like too out of shape to be good and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, Kevin Owens is a big wrestling star. He sells a shit ton of merch. I own like 5 or 6 Kevin Owens t-shirts. So like, you're wrong. You're just flat out wrong. Like, so how many times can you be wrong? This is what I don't understand about people, you know, is that like, how many times can you just be wrong and then recklessly keep defending your point of view?
Infinitely.
And this is the thing you have to understand is that like, that's, you know, something you have to open up to society is that people with these loud opinions a lot of times their superpower is being so narcissistic that they'll always think they're right, and you have to break through that. You know what I mean?
It's pathological.
Right. Yeah. Because if you can't break through, if you are going to be someone who has the loudest opinion and the strongest opinion, you let them dictate, well, then you will become a follower. You know what I mean? You have to really break through that bullshit. So, okay, now that being said, on the flip side of it, this guy was describing Kenny Omega's gimmick, and it's not a gimmick. So I also did agree with him.
Right.
I also did agree with him. It was like on the flip side of it, I also thought he had some good points, which is like this guy was like trying to explain why he was like, well, what his gimmick is like in Japan being, and he basically was describing he's a cosplayer. Right? Like, it's like, hey, he does Street Fighter stuff. And you're like, that's not, right?
It's not even true, though. Like, the way that he described the gimmick, it's like he's not an otaku weeaboo. Like, that's not what
cleaner.
And like, Kenny Omega is that. Like, the man Kenny Omega is that thing. But, like, that's just what you're reading into it. It's like how he flavors his style is by like sampling from video games and kind of the aesthetic and the move set because he thinks it's cool to do those moves in real life. But that's not ever been like, he's never cut a promo and was like, oh, I was reading this great manga the other day, and you know, it's like he's never done that.
When his gimmick in AEW is truly just nothing. It is truly nothing. Like, he's not even trying.
Kenneth Omega.
He's a guy. His gimmick is a guy with hype, right? Like, and I think what he likes, and by the way, to his credit, and I do think he is working on this to a degree, is his gimmick is letting you down, so that when he turns it up, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll tell you, if that's what he's doing, I'm getting worked because I'm starting to lack confidence in him being able to turn it up properly. You know? I don't understand how you spend a year of your career with this budding company wearing the same pants with holes in them for a year and not making that, like, not having a gimmick that, like, I'm a little homeless or something, right? Like,
here's where I call bullshit.
Canadian.
I call bullshit on that idea that he's working us by being shitty, because that requires a level of subtlety that not only doesn't work, not to be a fundamentalist, but it doesn't really work in wrestling unless it's like intentional, and I don't think it's intentional that way. It also like doesn't. It's giving him a lot of credit, and I think it's just reading into it. Like, oh, he's being low key so that when he turns it on, it's like really that much more impactful. No, I think he's just not. He's not doing anything. No, and you're seeing something in the void.
I believe that these elite guys have a blind spot to their fame. Like, and I'm a fan of all of them. They're all one of my guys. I believe that they think people know what the elite is a lot more than they really do as a viewer, and that they understand what the elite is, and that they've been following along. I think
they're watching the YouTube show at the same time and picking up on all these things. But it's like, if you don't watch it and you just tune in, like, you don't have that context.
It's not clear.
Yeah.
Like, they're acting like we're the frat, like, they're acting like we're in high school and the cool guys are already an established group of dudes. So it doesn't really matter, like, if you have an off day or not. Like, you're already fucking Ted Gallagher or whatever, like the quarterback or whatever it is. But, like, they need to be proving themselves every day. And to, like, some of these guys' credits, especially Cody, he was doing that for a while. Right? But then every once in a while being like, I'm also in the elite. And you're like, wait. You're in something called the elite. What is that? It's not clear.
Right.
They don't have an office in the back. It's not like the elite logo is not like, and they all don't dress uniformly. Like, the elite should look closer to what, like, the Hurt Business looks like. You know what I mean?
Right.
To, like, establish what it is. So, anyway, it's a roundabout way to say that Jim Cornette actually had some good points, but also I'll always think he's a jabroni for being narrow-minded. I'll always hate that I'll always, and Anthony King, a guy who I don't think he would, I think he would be surprised I say this, but I consider him like one of my mentors or whatever in a way, indirectly, because he was the artistic director of the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater when I was coming up. He's the one who cast me originally, would give me feedback and stuff, you know. He had this thing where he said, I always repeat it. It's always stuck with me. He's like, I have strong opinions held loosely. And that's how I do it. Like, I can't host this podcast without being like, here's what I think. But I'm always open to hearing what other people think, almost to a fault where Erin knows I respond to way too many people and I respond to way too much bullshit, to the point where I sent her a text chain I had with someone where I shut it down because I was like, I normally get into it with people because I want to hear from people. I like speaking to people, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's like that adage of like, don't talk about religion or politics. And I think that like, I love to talk about religion and politics because I do have strong opinions and I do believe in those opinions, but I'm also above all open to having my mind changed. And I think people who don't want to talk, you can't talk about this stuff. You can't talk about what wrestling could be. It's because you're coming from a place of like, I have strong opinions and I am not capable of having my mind changed. And so it's going to become uncomfortable because I'm going to become combative because I'm never going to change my mind.
Right. All right. Let's move on to Retribution after this pee break.
Ooh, okay. I would love that.
All right. All right, Erin is sitting back down. So this week we had, I forgot to look up all the names of the members of Retribution, but I know one of them is called Slapjack, right?
T-Bar,
And
Mace, Slapjack.
Are we recording? Are we on air?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
I said Erin's sitting down, so I'll start.
Yeah. So someone posted in our Facebook group. We should do this. It's Find Your Retribution Name.
We have the same one, right?
Yeah,
we have
Newman
the same
and
birthday.
I share a birthday. So based on our date of the month, October, and the day that we were born, our retribution name is Loco Blade.
Well, you know what? This is making me like Retribution more, by the way, immediately.
What's up? You were born
January 21st.
January 21st. Okay.
Typical Capricorn.
Dan is Punching Playa.
Punching Playa. Oh, man, you guys.
We've got
Someone you
Loco Blade
idolize.
Squared and Punching Playa.
Yeah. Do you guys notice I've really figured out how to use the soundboard finally?
I'm really glad you added someone you idolize.
Oh, man. Wait, I forgot to mention our sponsor.
Monday Night Raw is presented by Southern New Hampshire University.
I always thought that was so funny.
What's their
Southern
mascot?
New Hampshire University. So Retribution came out this week with a brand new look, kicking off the show. I just want to point out that just last week, the episode was entitled, Return to the Main Roster. And boy, oh boy, did Vince try as hard as he can to make stuff not work. Now, I think actually some of it is so strong that everything was working, but man, some really poor choices here. Retribution came out, they were wearing ski masks before. Now they came out, they they did the thing, extremely tired gimmick of messing with the intro of the show. Right? But then, you don't see any of them in the tech booth. The storytelling of that element of what's going on, them taking over the show, is so controlled that it's, downright stupid. Right? It's for kids. Straight up done for kids. Now, you can make the argument, and I saw someone make the argument that wrestling is for kids, so blah, blah, blah. Again, I throw out that argument. I'm here wearing merch. Kid merch like an idiot. This is literally the same one the kids wear. It's adjustable. It's one size fits all. Roman Reigns memorabilia vest. But I throw that out. I think kids watch Game of Thrones. Kids watch good shit. Kids like good stuff. You tell kids what's good. I'm talking about little kids, whatever. But by the time I was 7 or 8, I liked good shit already. So I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But okay. And wrestling can be good in that way, okay? Randy Orton's cool for kids and adults. So So I think there's a good way to find
It's
that
like
balance.
Flintstone vitamins.
Right, absolutely. They're still tasty at this age. But okay, but Retribution, they came out with these. They're very controlled. It's like clearly, you feel by watching it that it's like segment 1, Retribution, then they'll come back segment 6, right? Like it feels very formulaic. Where last week it did not feel like that. But anyway, they came out with new masks, and these masks were. Let's just talk straight up about the masks. These masks were basically like a combination of like Bane masks and like a little Mad Max vibe. The whole thing's like that classic, very tired, post-apocalyptic thing. It goes to Newman. Newman, what did you say? There's the Spooky Boys and the
Spooky Boys and Bikers.
Yeah, like
and they are clearly a biker-oriented group, and they're trying to play spooky, and so it does not work and will not work.
And the women had like low-key like Wakanda style face paint too.
For me, the big lesson here, and so I hear the word disappointing being used. Oh, this is disappointing. Here's the lesson for everybody. It's not disappointing to me. You know why? My expectations were never high enough. Right. Yeah. My expectations were never set high enough for me to be disappointed. This is exactly on track with what I predicted. And
I said last week that I thought they did something really smart, which was remove the reveal, right?
Right.
Which was like they basically said we were at the Performance Center, and what they did is they slowly took off the masks a little bit. So you're like, we know it's Dijakovic, we know it's Dio Madden, we know it's Mia Yim, like we know that, but that's not what this is about. This is about their message. Right. That was really slick and smart. But then this week, they made them just part of the roster, which is just they have a contract, meaning they sat down and all 5 of them signed the contract, but now they're upset with them for being part of this company while now being on the payroll?
Yeah.
What?
It's like,
what?
Why add that they signed a contract when their whole message is we want to destroy the WWE? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And plus, it's like, these are people, like, who cares? Like, for me, Retribution had a mystique when there was, like, rumors it might be someone cool who's under the mask. But as soon as you brightened that photo and realized it was just like NXT rejects, it's like then who gives a shit at all?
Yeah, and their first promo they let happen in ring, like their first like big sanctioned promo and they signed was Mia Yim, who's not good on the microphone, in her like regular voice, just not at all threatening at all. Mia Yim, just by herself, not in that mask, is tougher looking and sounding than this outfit. Now, I don't even care that the outfits are kind of stupid. It doesn't really matter to me. It's more just like it's just like a creative mess, like for no reason. Why are these wrestlers able to sign but not reveal what their stories are? Like, how are they fucked over by this company? Like, what happened?
Why would they sign a contract?
Dijakovic had like title shot after title shot in NXT. And my biggest gripe is exactly where I'm getting to, is this disconnect between NXT and the main roster. Like, we don't watch both. Like, like when you want to assume we watch both, which is like when Adam Cole comes up, and then it's one of their highest rated SmackDowns, right?
Right.
Then they go, oh, you know what's up. But now we're supposed to just assume, like, no one knows who Dio Madden was, the guy who we watched Brock Lesnar slam him through the table. This is not the same thing as them tossing out the fact that, like, the Eddie, Rey Mysterio, Dominic dad storyline. Like, that's fine. That's 20 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. We get it. And they did even acknowledge it. I'm not nitpicky in that way. Like, I get it. They're doing a different storyline. And it's almost like an homage to that. I'm fine with that. But, like, and actually didn't really contradict any of that either. But this is just like, what? Like, Vince and Triple H fucking work together. You got 2 shows, you know?
Right.
Yeah, the irony too of like your gimmick at first being like, you know, we're from this, we've been promised all this stuff and it's never come to fruition, and you are the product of a beep bop bop whatever, right? And then the irony behind the scenes of now, like you are literally what you're talking about. You are these like, you're this like nonsense gimmick sideshow fucking like what the fuck is even happening to get all Jim Cornette? It's like what is this supposed to be? So now they are literally WWE superstars who have been completely changed from NXT into some laughable like mess.
Right. Now so look. I'm trying to be like a little a little this is not positive. I've said this, I repeat this every single week about the structure of the show. You had Adam Pearce come out and be like the guy who's like, listen, I need help with this retribution. We don't see him at all this week, which is actually okay because he gave the Hurt Business the thumbs up to deal with them. But who signed them? Who gave them last week? There was a bounty out for them, and then and even just
now they're
the line,
employees.
which is that like, you know what? If we sign these guys, we can legally beat them up. Fine, get that line in there. And if it did come in from the announcers, that's not enough. I watch enough wrestling. It's not a throwaway line from the announcers, which a lot of times are just lines they throw in here and there, is not enough to tell the story. You know, it has to be told extremely clear. So is that why they signed them? So there's 5 of them. There's a core group of them, but there's a lot more of them. And they've all been guys who've been shit on by went to the Performance Center for false promises, except that the ones that we know who they are all people have had title shots and were all like kind of successful in the company. Right. So they're not even going to bother to be like Mia Yim being like, I was promised in my contract that I would have 4 title shots by now. Like none of that. And then also without Vince, unfortunately, this is really tricky storytelling to do. You know, because what they're doing is acknowledging the dirt sheets. They're acknowledging like they're doing a really cool thing of being like they're acknowledging like what the gripe people have with WWE is that how like they bury talent, right? They underutilize, right? But that's all works because we have this work shoot relationship, knowing that Vince. We all know, for better or for worse, that Vince runs literally everything. So without someone who's a proper spokesperson for Vince, like he needs a Kaylee McEnany or whatever. Like without that as a core centerpiece of the show, that's not an optional character for this show. Do you know what I'm saying? This is like if Game of Thrones had no throne. You know, like, it's like
just game.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like it just makes the show like inherently a mess because they're yelling at no one. So they signed contracts by who? So it makes the show stupid. You know?
Yeah. Right. Like we're supposed to believe that they sat in in the Money in the Bank conference room and executed a contract with like their lawyers. Like, what does that even entail? Like,
and AEW is really good at showing that stuff.
Right.
Right.
You know, they're good at showing that stuff. And the way they structure their show, you don't need Tony Khan, really. So, like, because you have these managers, and the managers get together, and they have lawyers, and the management role in AEW is extremely clear and consistent across the whole show. Like, most big talent on the show have a clear manager. You know, like Jake the Snake, Arn Anderson, and they're all like veteran talents. Even they put Matt Hardy, who was an active wrestler, with Private Party. Like they're like, hey, you need someone to help you navigate in here, and they can talk, and you'll buy that structure. So, anyway, not to mention they just looked really fucking stupid.
They looked ridiculous, and their names are so. I mean, the 3 guys. It's like Slapjack,
right?
Slapjack, T-bar.
What is a T-bar?
I imagine like construction, like a steel T-bar is the thing that
for like putting
up
a fence in, right? Like something like
right. Okay, now that all being said, the end of Raw when they were all fighting was cool.
When the Raw roster emerged from the locker room.
It's cool to see Drew run in as the champ and like think this is his responsibility. Again, it's a structure thing for the show that Drew's like, nah, fuck these guys. But it is weird that now they're signed and have they have actual like logos and the Titantron and blah blah blah. Like why not have them? I mean, the idea we had last week is so good that like they take over the Thunderdome spots. They have their own viewers, like you know what I mean. But there's so much like this show is so technical right now. Why not have one of them who's like a little geek and is their computer guy? Like why half-ass it all? They got so many people there, Not only that, every writer is like an actor on the show. It's non-union. They do whatever the fuck they want over there. It's so carny, right? They don't even shut down for COVID. Whatever. Why be lazy with the storytelling? I don't get it.
I think they had one idea for it when it first launched.
Right.
Everybody got 4 miles ahead of it, and they panicked, and then they just turned it into something else. And then every time they turn it into something else, everyone's already ahead of it. And now we're seeing this like fractalized dumbassery of like of whatever this is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's headed for like nothing because I read a rumor that they signed CM Punk. It was the most jabroni of sources. It was so
dirtiest of sheets.
The dirtiest of sheets, the filthiest of sheets, yet to be clean. And it was the dirtiest of sheets. But if CM Punk signed, there's no chance he would say I'll be part of that gimmick. No chance.
No. Hell no.
That ship has sailed. But man,
unless he comes in and is like, he would have to be like, look at you. You came in trying to take this machine down, and look what they've done to you. They put this mask on you. They call you Mace. You've now become the thing that you thought you were fighting against. And you get in early, and you go, no, we're gonna stop this. You're gonna rebel against this, and I'm gonna be in charge, and I'm gonna make sure that rather than Slappy Jack being your fucking like.
Flappy Jappy and yeah. Okay, so whatever. We've said enough about that. All right. In actual positive, there was a lot of positive stuff. I said I think the shows were still. I enjoyed watching them. I want to give a major props. If Tulo's listening, you'll love this. I think Sasha Banks cut a great promo. I thought. It was her best work I'd seen, like by far. Like a crying in the back promo. Her acting was pretty fucking good. It felt totally real, felt like real work shoot, real feelings she would have if Bailey turned on her. Like everything felt like real stuff they do, which is they like really, like both of them like really bask in their accomplishment glory. And I thought Bailey beat her up. I didn't see that coming because I thought it was taped. And so I thought that was really great and it got me juiced to see where they go with it. And I think also, based on what I was saying last week, I think they're primed to have Sasha be so emotional that she fucking loses. Like she will, because she's like crying and Bailey's fucking focused. So that'll be really good. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to give credit where it's due. It was obviously the best acting that I've seen her do to date. Haven't seen Mandalorian season 2 yet. Maybe that's, she stepped her game up, but she's,
actually, fun fact, I have a little clip of Sasha from Mandalorian 2.
Oh,
They put out yeah. Here's this is her line in the show.
Whoa!
That's what do you think?
Newman's face, you guys have to see it.
It's
trigger.
Actually,
trigger
Triple H has a review of it.
Someone you idolize.
We know he takes a lot of response for. Actually, Seth Rollins actually weighed in.
Oh, good for you.
I'll tell you, if I was like a fucking Al Qaeda member in Guantanamo Bay and they played that fucking Becky Lynch cover, I'm spilling the beans. I'm like, here's the fucking locations of all our fucking caves. Here's everything.
Just play it on loop to torture you.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be on loop. It would be the first 10 seconds. I'm like, I give up. That's it. This is where Bin Laden is. It's over.
Did you hear when they go like, she's a last kicker? Did you hear that?
Yeah. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, the ad libs. Yeah, embarrassing.
Whatever. I'm sure they've done some other good ones. This was a misfire for these guys for the
other good
the Jabroni
ones.
twins or whatever they're called.
Nope.
And all right, here's the deal. Another thing, and then I'll go through this all quick so we can just get into the predictions. But Seth Rollins and Dominic. I mean, this feud just stays hot. I mean, what's going on? I mean, this week they started bringing Ray's daughter into it, and I literally laughed out loud when Seth was like, "The results are in. You're not the father," and I was like,
"This picture of Maury to his Instagram page."
Yeah. And I was hoping, I was fingers crossed that like he was like, "I'm Dominic's father." Like, I was fucking hoping if he's pushing that, just being like, I'm Dominic's father.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I had him when I was 13 or whatever the freaking age difference is.
Yeah.
10.
Oh, man. You can see Rey's Mysterio's daughter, what's her name, Aaliyah? She's just cracking up the whole time. Like, she's clearly not even interested in the fucking business at all. And she's probably like a speech pathologist or whatever. And she's just there, like,
endocrinologist.
Well, she's 19, so she's probably in college or whatever. But like,
right.
Because they said her age, and they, but like, she's there, and she's just like, Seth was cutting a promo, and she's you're like, I have the results right here, and she starts cracking up.
How could you not?
Oh, it made me think she was so cool. I'm trying to hang out with Aaliyah Mysterio. She seems like a cool person.
You have to go through Buddy Murphy first.
Oh, yeah. What were they doing with that?
I don't know.
He was like,
it, though.
Was he like macking it to her, or was he like just like trying to?
I think that she like kind of like showed him like she was caring towards him when he was down. And then it happened again last night. So
because he's a man, he took any positive attention from a woman as being romantic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so funny. I just want to say this because I always give Roman this shit, but they really do like work really hard on Seth's writing. Like, Seth gets such good writing in WWE. I mean, like, so, like, right now, like, Aleister Black is wearing he's wearing, like, a makeshift eye patch, and, like, coming out and just beating up KO for no reason. And, like, Seth gets all this, like, awesome segments, I mean, not that he has completely earned it and deserves it and knocks it out of the park, but, like, sometimes when you look at WWE, you're like, ooh, some of these guys, they really try when they're writing on some of these guys,
Right.
Nikki Cross, also great promo with Alexa Bliss. It was her best. I'd seen her. I was like, oh, this is cool. Good for her. She had set up she's going to beat up Bayley, and then Alexa started talking about how she's changing, which be honest, I didn't like Alexa acknowledging her shift. I feel like I didn't like
she doesn't understand it.
I do, though, like that we're getting something that we don't always get, but it has been happening in the last few weeks on Raw, which is something we talked about, which is like these storylines are affecting like other storylines and they're being acknowledged in conversations in relation to like another. So I do like that they had that conversation because it's, we don't always get it. And it's, I think, important to have some sort of continuity through all these storylines.
Right. Like Nikki could have easily been on A Moment of Bliss and just not acknowledged the Sister Abigail, like it never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. For time.
Oh, and Lacey Evans' laugh. I'm sorry, but Newman sent a clip to our group text thread with Lacey Evans' laugh, and it really cracks me up.
I loved it. She did like an old school penguin, right?
She did it twice.
Yeah, what was that?
Listen, this
it's a choice.
It's
a choice. Yeah.
Is so much more interesting when they're just like, I'm a Marine, Lacey.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, especially in this climate, like, so it's like we don't need the like America heat right now, like
Right.
So I just think Lacey, she's funny and good at it. I don't think they should call her sassy. I don't think that's the right adjective. But her being like calling people nasties, I always
it's so funny.
It's so funny.
So funny.
Really
A couple of
laugh.
nasties is so funny.
She's really smooth on the mic too.
Yeah.
Like she's good.
And we're getting some kind of Carmella rebrand. And just shout out to Carmella, who hit me up on Instagram the other day.
Oh yeah, big props for that.
Slid into your PMs, your public messages.
My public. She slid into my PMs. She was looking to hang. I had to break the news to her I'm married, and Tulo didn't like it. Anyway, all right. So the last thing I want to say is that clearly Vince is. We all know how Vince works. He's clearly trying to get that Money in the Bank briefcase away from Otis.
Oh my God. Poor Otis.
He's clearly going to give it to either Miz or Hennigan, or they're going to fight over it because he's like, I can't have this guy catch it. I wanted to give one little props to Otis, though. Otis, he had his shirt off in the back, and we see how hard the guy works out. He is high body fat. He is an extremely heavy guy, but he isn't he is jacked and fucking strong as shit.
Yeah,
so
I watch
on
his
Instagram stories, right? Like he's always
he works out with Gable.
Eating a lot of food or working out.
Yeah, I love watching him and Gable work out too because of the way they like spot each other. They both use the same voice, so like Gable is also like, "Come on, baby, yep, one more." Like he's like, yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
You mean Shorty G?
Shorty G.
God, just cut that
Shorty
shit
G?
out. Gable's got to go back to NXT and just be the champ or start wrestling Finn. The guy, Gable is so fucking talented. And like, there's this jabron zone of WWE. It's like you get into the full on like the Vegas tourist trap, or what I mean, that you know what I mean, that's like that, when you go to see if you go to see Cirque du Soleil, they're like, oh, we put clowns in between each thing, and you're like, oh, these clowns suck. Just show me the people who are talented.
Show me Zoomanity.
Yeah, right. So you're like,
I want to go to Vegas.
Some of these wrestlers get put in that fucking that make the kids laugh mode, and I feel so fucking bad. And they keep putting Miz back in that zone, and it's so annoying. Yeah. Miz is out there in his undies. You're like, oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway. All right. Well, let's get into our predictions. Right now, by the way, you guys know this. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Was that Aleister Black? That sounded like the door opening.
Yeah. Shit. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So we've been doing on the podcast. Sorry, I got this thing I was looking at. All right, we got on the podcast. I'm back. We've been doing a long running merch. Well, I don't know, Erin. How do we describe this?
It's the T-shirt derby. So
the T-shirt derby.
Yeah, we issue our predictions on air for a pay-per-view, and then the person who wins gets the most right. Gets a piece of merch from our fellow hosts here. And I won one PPV, and then Dan and I tied, but he won the last one with the tiebreaker, which was will Roman wear a vest or not, a shirt covering or not.
Yeah.
So we're 1-1. So we're going to do our predictions again here for Clash of Champions.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I just gotta bring up the card. Oh, Erin,
I have a card.
Okay, you want to go through the card? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it from the top. All right, for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Asuka versus Selena Vega. Dan,
does that say P that indicates the match will take place on the pre-show? No, there's no way that'll be a pre-show match, right?
Well,
that's probably.
Why wouldn't it be
possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It has two women of color. Of course, they're gonna open. They're gonna be pre-taped.
All right. Dan,
I'll go. I'll choose Asuka.
I'm going to choose Asuka also.
Yeah.
It's
also
Newman.
same.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
And I have Nick Tulo's predictions here because he's also a member of the T-shirt derby, and he also picked Asuka. Okay. Next, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. I'm going to pick Lashley.
To retain, right?
Lashley retain, yeah. I'll also choose Lashley. I doubt they're giving that back to Apollo Crews, especially because he's not in the Hurt Business, which is an important part of the show.
Okay. Let's see. Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza for the Raw Tag Team Championship titles.
I'm gonna actually go Andrade and Garza. I think that they're going to try to give them some momentum now that they've taken Zelina away.
Yeah. I chose them last time and they didn't win.
Yeah.
So I feel a little burned. But I'm also going to go Andrade Garza. I think Street Profits are, I don't know. I don't think they're really working, to be honest.
I'm going to go Street Profits.
Okay.
Just to mix things up a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we have a triple threat ladder match.
Oh, this is
for the
awesome. I didn't know this was a
Intercontinental.
ladder match.
Yes. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn. Nick Tulo picked Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with enjoy the show. I'm going to pick Jeff Hardy just for laughs.
And after that, I'm going straight to hell. Enjoy the show.
I'll also choose Jeff Hardy. I think.
Yeah, you know what? Same.
Fun fact: Jeff Hardy just signed a big new contract, so
Yeah.
I doubt they're gonna have him
Enjoy
drop
the
it.
show.
And he's been seems to be pretty positive at WWE. Like he's been saying stuff like, you know, he wants to retire. He wants to bring his Willow character there. So he doesn't seem to be doing the AEW jump because his brother's over there. Like seems to be he's happy. He wants to retire in WWE, and WWE is probably, you know, they seem to be pretty tolerant of his addiction issues. You know, I mean they rip on it in the storyline, but they also don't fire him. You know. So they seem to be, you know, so I think, like, for him, that's probably a good situation, you know. That's, I don't know, I'm just speculating for my pick of a T-shirt. I'm talking about a man's addiction to justify my T-shirt pick. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. And next up, we have the match we're all just dying to see for the SmackDown Tag Titles, Cesaro and Shinsuke versus Lucha House Party.
Wow. Can you, two guys like Cesaro and Shinsuke, mighty. The mighty have fallen.
I have Cesaro and Shinsuke.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay.
I'm wondering
if they just get Lucha House Party are back. They were gone for the whole summer.
Right.
Nick Tulo also picked Cesaro and Shinsuke.
Because it's the obvious choice, right?
Right.
But
a little bit.
if we apply McMahon's razor, does it still shake out that way? I'm gonna go Lucha House Party.
I love that. LHP. Okay. All right. Next for the Raw Women's the tag titles. The women's tag titles. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad.
I mean, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, right? Riot Squad. I mean, I guess I think it's too new into it, but they do seem interested in the Riot Squad. You know,
I'm going Riot Squad.
I am
Same.
too, because I like Liv Morgan. So
yeah.
I also think there's going to be a couple of like swerve finishes, in terms of like who wins.
That's what I don't like about my picks right now, because my picks are all pretty down the line. You know what I mean? Like,
if this was like SummerSlam or something, then I might have picked differently. But it's like specifically about like, oh, these are like Clash of Champions. So I think there's going to be a couple switches.
Yeah, what do you got?
Just to give them a little bit of props in terms of the show being called Clash of Champions, and this Hardy AJ Styles Sammy's match feels like a Clash of Champions, you know?
Yeah.
That match could have been called the Clash of Champions, so I think that's pretty cool. Which match is it? What am I talking about?
Did you pick Nia and
Nia
Baszler?
and Shayna,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley or Nikki Cross?
Yeah, I'll choose Bayley to win. I mean, there's a chance that Nikki wins by DQ for Sasha coming in, right?
Yeah, but do we count DQ? Is it like just straight up?
Yeah, it's whoever
win?
wins, right? Yeah, it's whoever wins.
Okay.
I'm gonna
pick Nikki Cross just to be different.
I'm gonna choose Nikki Cross also, just because not to be different, but because I'm gonna go like a DQ win. Because this is just, you know.
Nick Tulo also picked Bayley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, for the Universal title, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso.
Yeah, that'll be Roman Reigns for me.
It's gonna be Ro.
Yeah, same.
We got rows across the board.
Actually, the main event is kind of tough, I think.
Yeah.
I also think that the tiebreaker question should still be, will Roman come out with a vest on?
That is true
Okay.
because this might not be where he does it, and he could just do a classic show up and win. Is Jey Uso the guy to unleash the physique on? You know?
No.
I mean,
don't know.
it's a
No.
guy he probably thinks he could easily beat. If I'm Roman, I'd probably come out in the T, right?
Well, let's do the
Yeah.
tiebreaker now while we're talking about the match. Dan, you say vest or no vest?
No, I think he's gonna come out in the T-shirt again.
Well, covered or uncovered?
Covered. I'm gonna
Shirts
go
or
covered.
skins? Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go covered, even though he said shirtless. I think this is
Okay,
not the moment.
Newman, how about you?
I mean, yeah, I think it's covered.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick skin. I'm
All right.
optimistic, and we'll get to us input on that later. Okay, and finally, Drew McIntyre versus Randall Keith Orton.
It's an
for
by the way,
the-
it's an
for the
ambulance
heavyweight
match,
title. Oh,
which
I'm
I
sorry,
think
in
means
an
you have to lock him in an ambulance
match.
and it has to drive away, right? That's what you right?
Who's driving?
I mean,
I'm
this
going
is,
McIntyre.
keep in mind, Randy lost to McIntyre clean at SummerSlam. Randy lost clean to Keith on whatever that pay-per-view was, the one right after Payback, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna pick.
I don't think Randy getting the belt is a Clash of Champions moment. I think it's a WrestleMania moment, or it's a bigger moment than this like middling pay-per-view.
Right.
Okay, but also fun fact about Randy is that he's the 14th-time champion. So if they're trying to get him up to 16,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
That's true.
If they're trying to
I'm
raise
still
his
going-
numbers quicker for some kind of Cena thing, just saying.
Newman's got Drew.
Yeah.
I got Randy. Dan.
I'm gonna choose because there's also the thing that like Edge might come back, right? And then
You
Right.
know him. You think you know him.
you're right, and then that would keep it on Drew, and they let Drew keep it through SummerSlam. So what do we gain from Randy winning the title right now? Like, what do we gain from that? I'm not exactly sure.
Right.
I
Except,
mean,
like,
it is right
viewership.
before the Slither launch. Like,
Yeah, but
who's to say?
that would only hurt Randy because that's a separate thing from the company.
Third
So-
party.
that's third party. I would say, and then we're going into Rumble season. Like not yet. We're not close. Survivor Series. So that'll give us, if we do have, that would give us Roman. Okay, so that's interesting. Roman McIntyre and Roman's heel. So that's interesting. Drew Roman is really, really interesting.
lot
Drew
of beef.
Roman Finn is also pretty interesting if they throw Finn in there too, because now they have a guy who they could do that. Randy Roman is also cool, but I'm gonna say Drew retains.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
I'm gonna say
I like
Drew
that.
retain. Drew for the, I guess Drew win. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Drew win.
All right,
Yeah.
well, we're locked in, folks. We'll let you
Right.
know next
Should we
week.
lock it in?
how goes. Yeah,
Lock it in.
Wow, it's locked in. All right, everybody. We'll see. Remember, we talked about it all, but we won't really know until these champions actually, many would say, clash. And keep in mind, Sunday morning, I'll try to set it for midnight on a midnight Pacific Standard Time, Saturday. I'll put out the RKO special, me and Sheb's ranking RKOs, and that'll come out on Sunday for patrons at all patrons levels. So you got to be a patron at literally any level, and you get it. If you're a patron for $2 a month, you get it. Patreon.com/Comedians of Wrestling. Support the podcast. We'll talk about more. We'll have you unlock more special episodes, but that'll be coming out. And also remember to give this podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and check out the Cow Movie Club on Patreon, and also check out Friday morning. We'll talk about NXT and AEW this week. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening to the show, and keep watching wrestling. Kisses.
Whoa!